Throughout his career, Samuel L. Jackson slowly but surely built up his ever-impressive resume. While many people may not be familiar with his earliest roles, as many of them were in lesser-known productions, with this type of reputation, there's often very little talked about regarding the life of Jackson had before acting. Like many of us, Samuel L. Jackson was once a young man looking to find his way in the world as an always thinking college student with a passion for equality. Growing up in the 1950s and 60s greatly affected his perception for the world around Samuel L. Jackson. Getting equality for Jackson was something that became such a vital piece of his life that he began to question his environment and push more for what he felt and his peers deserved. This drive, unfortunately, led to then Morehouse college student being convicted of a felony and expelled from the university for his actions. Uncovering the reason behind the event is crucial, as it has greatly shaped the life of Jackson and the way he lived his life forever going forward. Samuel L. Jackson is no doubt a legend in the world of entertainment, but how much do you know about his life before acting and his infamous Morehouse College expulsion? Born on December 21st, 1948, during his childhood, Jackson was an avid instrumentalist playing the flute, French horn, and even the trumpet. Having attended all segregated schools through high school, Jackson knew something else and had not yet developed any true interest in the arts or acting, as it was not common or familiar with his family. It was not common for a family of his stature for the time. After the death of his father, Jackson was raised by his hardworking mother and maternal grandparents, ensuring he stayed out of trouble. The mild-mannered child with a stutter had grown up in the civil rights era, and after enrolling in Atlanta's infamous HBCU, Morehouse College, Jackson's life would change forever. In 1966, Samuel L. Jackson enrolled at the university, aspiring to be a marine biologist. Not until after some theater for extra credit did Jackson shift his focus and become a theater major, setting the landscape for his career the world would come to love him for. While Jackson had not yet become a full-on extremist in the eyes of some during his quest for equality and exclusion, there had already been seeds planted from the daily situations he's faced like other blacks at the time. Racial tensions in America were very strong at this time, making the death of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968 as a straw that broke the camel's back. In a sit-down with Ebony magazine in 2008, Jackson spoke with his reaction to the situation, stating, "I was very angry about the assassination, but I wasn't shocked by it." He recalled in an interview with Parade regarding his actions to King's death. "I knew that change was going to take something different, not sit-ins, not peaceful coexistence." For Jackson, the incident was enough, and after serving as an usher for the funeral, he almost immediately flew back to Tennessee to join equal rights protests. The knowledge about what was lacking for the black community was only fueled more before he decided to inform his school. The talk with the school officials regarding the desire or changes didn't go as well as the students had hoped, with the administration selling a different future that simply did not align with the value and goals set by Jackson and company. In a piece from Blavity, Jackson speaks on the gist of the conversation. As he revealed, he was told, "You would be a great doctor, a lawyer, maybe a great scientist." I was skeptical of that. I didn't want to be just another Negro in the, advancement of America card. We had no connection to the people that we lived around. I was skeptical of that. We didn't even have a black studies class. There was no student involvement on the board. Jackson thought there was much more to be done with regards of educating black students on their past. Additionally, the lack of involvement by the student body with higher-ups within the university is something Jackson has openly stated time and time again in interviews was a major catalyst for the drastic actions taken next. Upon seeing that it was clear that extreme measures had to be taken as a formal meeting request was being ignored by the students. In 1969, Jackson orchestrated and led a group of students to begin a lock-in. The students used chains from the yard to keep both themselves and high-ranking members of the university in a room. More information from the Blavity piece speaks to what occurred during the situation, in Jackson's own words, stating, "Our understanding was that once we locked them in, we were in violation of a whole bunch of laws. Dr. King's father, who was on the board, had some chest pains. We didn't want to unlock the door, so we just put him on a ladder, put him out the window, and sent him down." The whole thing lasted a day and a half. Having been brewing an ideology based on radicalism and having it further pushed upon learning of his expulsion from Morehouse College, Samuel L. Jackson faced even more trouble, although for a more serious infraction. Following the expulsion, Jackson became even more angry as he recalled how war took his cousin from him. He also knew that he wanted to be prepared to fight if need be. Jackson spoke on the preparation that took place, saying, "We were buying guns," which kind of put me on the radar of the powers that be. We were fully expecting a revolution to happen. That summer of '69, somebody from the FBI came to my mom's house in Tennessee and told her she needed to get me out of Atlanta before I get killed. According to Jackson, these were merely other like-minded individuals he was with often, when he simply remembers waiting to be protected and getting ahead of the war before it began. Unfortunately, Jackson became a target due to the alleged association between himself and other people who might have been Black Panther members. Myths about his true associations were debunked via a 2018 Vogue interview that revealed it's also been widely reported that in his youth he was a member of the Black Panthers, but he insists it's not true and has no idea where the story came from. He was, however, part of the fight for equal rights in the 60s, and he's not surprised by the U.S.'s apparent turn towards intolerance. Nevertheless, the warning to his mother was enough to send Jackson to live in Los Angeles, where he would go on and work in social services for the next few years until 1971. Now at this time, Jackson decided to reapply for Morehouse, and upon getting accepted, was able to finish up his degree the following year. While many believe 1994's Pulp Fiction was Jackson's true coming out party to the industry, placing him as a bona fide actor, he was quick to jump into the industry. 1972, Together for Days, was Jackson's film debut, billed as a drama regarding the civil rights movement. This move was intentional, as Jackson, according to his Vogue interview, views the film as more influential piece as he sympathizes more with the film's message over so many of his more popular titles. Samuel L. Jackson has gone on to do a number of famous films with an average of $89.6 million gross per movie. Nonetheless, people can never forget the humble beginnings and nearly tragic ending to the life of Jackson. As a college student with a desire for more, he fought for what he felt was deserved and was not satisfied until he got it. With the expulsion from the prestigious Morehouse College at the time, the choice to buy guns and align himself with possibly a number of Black Panthers made him someone to watch in the eyes of the FBI. Through Jackson's career, there are films alluding back to the mentality he spoke of about getting equality and more inclusion of Black people when it comes to making decisions. Years later, the same things Jackson fought for have been realized at a number of HBCUs and in general, with Black people becoming more included in the following decades as Jackson went on to become a movie star. Let us not forget the history of Samuel L. Jackson's political protesting at Morehouse College that nearly altered the trajectory of his life and legacy forever.